This is where it all began. 1994, soccer tryouts. Living together in one of the floors up here in the building, working as hard as I possibly could, trying to make the team, taking every opportunity I possibly could to rest, relax, recover for practice. And then I met this guy.
And it's absolutely true that he did tell me, or tell our coach, that he hated me because of the fact that I'm away from home for the first time. I'm trying out for the soccer team. I'm just trying to have a good time, getting to know people. I'm out in the hall, kicking the ball around and just laughing and joking and having a great time. And I am absolutely infuriating this guy. The unfortunate thing for him is that at the end of the tryouts, everybody that we knew got cut. So it was just the two of us that were left. So we were forced to be friends, 100%.
And a friendship that's lasted 30 plus years, and I could not be more happy with him.
Okay, so as you can see, this is my dorm room, number 16 right here. And basically, this part of the building didn't exist because they've now closed it off, where it's now, I believe, central air and everything like that. We had to have a box fan in the window. There was no air conditioning during these 95-degree summer days where we would start out at the beginning of the school year. Absolutely sweating your rear end off. Really different age now where we have all this technology and everything like that, as you can see by this huge box right here. But this is how we would end up meeting up every single day. I come, knock on the window, and Shafe and I would be hanging out every single day.
Open up the window, see how we're doing, meet out in the quad, which we'll sell in a little bit, and play some soccer. And after knocking on a window a couple times, we come out here and spend 3, 4, 5 hours a day knocking the ball, kicking it back and forth, long balls, short balls, dribbling, everything we do to make sure we're working our touch, our soccer, our quality.
And then we were mainly out here hanging out with friends, trying unsuccessfully to pick up women, those types of things. Just hours upon hours of hanging out and just getting close.
I think more time we spent out here than I did in my dorm, certainly more than classes doing homework.
Yeah, and then we had, professors that we would particularly, remember Dr. Knowles being one of my favorites.
Attack. Love Attack.
Yeah, it's just a lot of great memories, and this place is way prettier than it was at the time, but it was actually perfect that it wasn't perfect.
I mean, it was completely dirt in the middle here, so again, it made us work on our touch even more.
All right, so behind us is the field. Obviously, it's in great shape. It looks spectacular. It was a little bit more worse for wear in the beginning when we were here back in '94, but this is kind of the reason that we got together at all, is we both came here to play. And if we didn't choose to try out for the soccer team, we never would have met, we never would have become friends, we never would have been doing this project together. So,
but I mean, all the stuff we did here, coach at the time loved the up and backs, so we had to do 5 or 6 up and backs, running wise, the training facility in the back. I mean, even walking to practice, probably a 15-20 minute walk. But again, that time was great. I mean, it's not just on the field, but talking to each other, reminiscing about what's going on school-wise, but definitely was on the pitch. But yeah, this is where everything really, really happened.
And the smell of bacon in the background because of the bacon factory being over there. And when we got in trouble for the rookie night and we ended up having to run, I forget, it was like 5 or 6 of the complexes because of the fact that it got back to coach that we had done stuff we shouldn't have been.
But even then, I mean, just walking over, trying to run up and backs around the stadium and smelling bacon. I mean, who doesn't like bacon? But I mean, after a while, that bacon smell after 3 or 4 laps,
you don't want to smell it anymore. So you've told me this story before, but kind of walk me through the experience of, you're just out of college, you've graduated, and you get your first job offer, and you're driving away from, basically getting hired at your first big job. You made a phone call after that. What was the phone call?
So literally, I'm as we were driving right now, driving away from school, got my first job. So excited to get started. Great salary, great career. I could not be more excited to get that one done. and I have an orientation with HR. They put this big stack of papers in front of me talking about benefits and health insurance and 401k and all this stuff, and sounded great. I had no idea what any of that meant, and I realized I have no idea what I'm doing. So as a accounting major, someone who joined at the time one of the big 6 accounting firms, I had no education whatsoever about personal finance, benefits, anything to do like that one. So my first call, Pete, was to my father. And I remember saying, hey, Dad, I got all this stuff. What is this? What is a 401k? What's health insurance? What is PPO, POS, HMO, all these different types of things? And I had no idea what it was. And he had to sit there and explain it to me about what these different benefits were. And ever since then, even though I was not necessarily in the financial planning field at the time, it's always stuck with me. How can an accounting guy with a strong financial background not have any idea what this stuff was? And going back to my high school, college, I took so many philosophy courses, theology, English, literature, which are all great things to do. Everyone should learn about it, but there's never a personal finance course. How to balance your checkbook, how to even write a check back then. I know checks aren't necessarily in vogue right now, but back then, how do you write a check? What are these benefits? What's a 401k? How do you contribute? What's a W-2 look like? How do you file a tax return? What's a credit card? What's the benefits of credit cards? All these types of personal information or personal financial information never was taught, never was shared with me. So I could only sit back and imagine, what about the architects? What about the engineers, the English teachers, the math, science? If I'm not getting this one as an accountant finance guy, how are they getting it? And it's really been kind of my life mission, is to make sure that I'm getting that information in the hands of those people who really need it, to help them make sure that when they start their career very early on, they're making right decisions, they're taking the right steps to make sure that they're financially successful in the future. And that really truly is my life mission.